Make it. Would you consider this a heat wave?
Well, I just had to go put a sweater on because I'm cold, but
It's like
that's because we're indoors.
24 degrees out.
I know, but we have like a dehumidifier. Is that the function on the heat pump that makes it freezing inside the house? Yeah.
But do you think it's a heat wave outside?
I think it's just decadent, but I know it's dry and we need rain.
It's a dry wave more than a heat wave.
It's a dry wave.
Just consistent not raining has caused us to be in a state where we're not allowed in the woods in Nova Scotia.
We've been in climates, though, where if you step outside, within 5 seconds, you are pouring sweat. So
Thailand was the hottest I've ever been.
This feels just pleasant as far as I'm concerned.
It's great. Perfect
Having
summer
a pleasant
weather.
wave.
Perfect other than the fact that it hasn't rained and it's the whole province is a tinder box right now.
Hopefully by the time we release this episode, we will have had some type of downpour.
It's supposed to rain, this week, upcoming weekend. We're recording it a little earlier than the release date, but...
And we know what the consequences are, having been in wildfire territory, evacuation. There's two sides to every decision, and I know what it's like to be behind the scenes in government and have to make these difficult decisions. Like you can't please everyone. So we'll just do what we're being asked of.
I made a video on my band's Facebook and Instagram page saying, well, we live in the woods. We're just surrounded by trees everywhere. And I just thought, I'll make a funny video that says, when you can't go into the woods, but you live in the woods. I'm just looking confused.
Maybe we'll show the looking confused face.
I can put the actual video in. I'll do that now. But there's our Facebook as of right now has like 150,000 views, hundreds of comments, thousands of reactions, and most people just get it. Like I don't know, just making light of a situation that kind of sucks. I understand why they made the ban. I don't know if I agree completely that it has to be that drastic. I know they have to take measures because there are a lot of really stupid people out there, and they're the ones who mess it up for everyone. But anyway, in the comments, it's it's all over the map. One guy's going hard, thinks that I'm basically trying to advocate for lighting fires, basically.
He called you an idiot several times.
Yeah.
But
an asshole.
You knew that you were opening yourself up to this. Like you do with anybody does with any social media post. It's too bad that it has to be so opinionated when you're just trying to make light and have a little fun, but that's just to be expected. Yeah.
People often don't read things the right way, like read a situation or a video or a comment, like they don't understand it because they're stupid.
Okay. Welcome to Make It with Mike and Kristen.
Where creative people talk about what they make and what making it means to them.
Yeah. We'll leave our opinions out of it from now on, huh? No, it's our show. We can talk about whatever we want.
I would... Well, the reason like most fires start is because someone's really stupid. Like a reason a lot of bad things happen in the world are because people are stupid.
I know. We just don't know. We don't always agree on what that means, right? It's just so black or white. You're either this way or this way without much in between. That's what I see as kind of the challenge.
Yeah, I think people aren't very good at understanding both sides of the story. Like we are very stuck in our ways and our ideas, beliefs, and opinions, and we don't want to change anything or listen to someone who may have a different perspective.
Precisely.
But in general, like if you throw cigarette butts into the woods, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty straightforward.
I mean, if you're smoking cigarettes in the first place.
Uh,
yeah. I digress. Let's talk about today's topic instead.
How to start being creative.
Mm-hmm.
We're two creative people. We do lots of creative things. How do we get going? How do we start on a project? How do you start if you've never even laid pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, fingers to fretboard, hands to canvas? How do you actually get going, Kristen Harrington?
Well, we have made a list of some tips that we think could be helpful, or maybe we have used ourselves. But I wanted to start by asking, because I think you and I already know that we are creative people. Like that's kind of become a natural or comfortable space for us to be in. Is this discussion, or are these tips for people that are already artists or comfortable calling themselves, or someone who just is never even dabbled, or maybe neither?
I think it could be from a person who's an absolute beginner.
Okay.
Because then this is kind of funny. The first one in how to start being creative is to start being creative. Just start.
Excellent advice.
Just go for it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nike had the motto right. It's literally the best advice. You just have to, and sometimes that is just building up the right amount of courage. You have to take that little bit of a leap to actually do it. And maybe you can do it in the seclusion and privacy of your own space if you need to have that. No matter what it is, if it's you want to learn to play guitar, just get a guitar and start figuring it out. You don't have to know what it is you're trying to figure out. Just go for it. Go buy some paints, get a notebook, start writing. I think it's just such a simple thing. And with anything, you want to lose weight. How do you get going? Just take that little first step, and this is going to open up just so many possibilities, so many ideas are going to come to you. You're going to learn so much as you start taking more and more steps. I think for creativity, it's the same. Just go for it. Take that leap, that first step, whatever the direction is that you're wanting to go in. You have to just be a little bit brave.
This is advice that not only have we received, but that we have offered ourselves in the past. And you're right, it applies to not just creative work, but just work in life. We tend to consume a lot of information or advice, self-help podcasts or books, but it's the action, the follow-up to that, the implementation of this advice that truly matters. And some people will, and I know you've done this even, they'll set a timer for 30 minutes and you write in your notebook.
Yeah.
With no judgment, you never have to read it again. It doesn't matter what it says. It's the showing up for yourself and building consistency and building trust.
Yeah.
That this is something that's important to me, and I'm going to prove that to my brain by doing it.
And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're the worst guitar player of all time, or maybe you're just amazing right off the bat. None of that matters. It's just actually doing it. And you should probably expect not to be good at anything. Like that's just normal. People, if you have never done something before and you're starting to it, you're likely not going to be great at it. And that's perfectly fine. That's the way it should be.
And that's what's fun for us as more seasoned creatives, is trying that brand new thing and putting the effort and action into it.
Well, this podcast, for example, when we started, we discussed it for a while, and then we just realized, well, the only way this is going to happen is if we just set up the mics, hit record, and see where it goes.
Great example. Recognizing that we're not going to get everything right, and we hope to improve over time, but finding joy in being the beginner all over again. So I feel like this piece of advice is great because it applies to somebody who has, as you pointed out, never done anything, potentially, or they tell themselves nothing in their creative world, or for the seasoned artist who wants to maybe challenge themselves to a new outlet or medium.
Yeah, just take the first step, be brave, be courageous, and have no expectations.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
My first tip for how to get started is recognizing what you have already done creatively that might not feel like traditional art, but is very much your self-expression. So what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
How do you organize the furniture in your living room? Or how do you cook? Are you following a recipe, or are you just kind of throwing ingredients together? How do you maybe form the shape of your garden or landscaping? When we think of art, it's often traditional art, quote, traditional art.
Yeah.
So singing or painting or sculpture, writing. But there's so many other daily ways of expressing that I think are overlooked. I used to bring this up in the boardroom often in my corporate job, and that everybody has a way of presenting themselves or an idea or even a PowerPoint differently.
Yeah.
That is your creativity. So you think that maybe you like, oh, I've never done anything creative. I've never done anything as an artist. But you probably already are doing this daily. You just have to think about it in a little bit of a different way. So my tip is to observe those things that you enjoy doing already, and how can that be applied to more intentional creativity in your life.
And you can recognize by doing this that you are a creative person.
Yeah.
And that can allow you to maybe build confidence in the fact that you can take up this art form that you're curious about.
Totally.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just distracted because I see you have a phone call coming in, but
From the Netherlands.
I mean, that feels important.
Oh yeah, I didn't put my phone in airplane mode.
That's okay.
Yeah,
We won't answer
I
it.
bet you it's a real person. I know a lot of people over there.
I've started getting text messages probably 5 times a day, all always from different numbers or countries, that will say, hey, are you free to chat? Or
yeah, I get those
are you
too.
available this weekend? And
yeah,
who knows where that came from.
I'm getting a lot of ones from Nova Scotia now too.
You just let them go.
And I think
voicemail.
Well, when it's but if you're in my shoes, like it could be a gig, because my phone number is like for the band. So
we're quite public with our contact information.
I answer every I would have answered that call if I was not in the middle of the podcast. I answer every call that comes through.
I answer 0 calls that come through. See, we're creative in different ways.
That's the way it goes. So the next one is to start to consume every piece of art, every piece of content in the area where you want to learn. So if you want to be a guitar player, you got to start listening to other guitar players. Buy a bunch of albums, or no one buys albums anymore. Go on Spotify, listen to guitar players you like, start watching YouTube videos, just listen to music. If it's painting, like, you have to consume, what are the greats doing? What are people doing that I want to be like? And not to necessarily right away you're going to be like that person, but or be as good as them, but it's just to find inspiration. Like, you shouldn't expect to be able to do what they do, but it's guiding you down a path. Like, it will make you think about different things in different ways, and you'll have new discoveries, and it will bring out just a part of your brain that could be a little bit locked. But yeah, once you hear, again, on music's an example I'll use the most in this, but yeah, learning to play guitar. When I first started as a kid, I would just listen to all the albums of the bands I liked, and I was just we didn't have YouTube then, so I would just move my fingers on the fretboard till it sounded the same as the song that I was listening to, and then that's how I learned how to play guitar, by just listening and trying to replicate that. And that's not a good way to learn, but it's
that was the only way in your era.
The only way I could, yeah.
But now, is it a matter of just typing a prompt into YouTube, for example, or searching that in a podcast? Like, what's a more specific way of finding those tutorials?
Well, tutorials are one thing. Like, YouTube, I would have a million different things. Like, whatever. If you do fluid art, just how to be fluid artist, you can search that up. But this is also, it's about just being inspired and finding examples of what you may consider to be like perfection, of like the art that is where you want to go, and that just sets you down that path of trying to get there. And I guess that's the definition of inspiration.
I would add to that you may also look to someone that is only a little bit more advanced than you.
Of course,
this was a piece of advice. We had Tisha Parker Kempt on, who does coaching and mentorship, and she made the great point of to a grade 1 student, a 5th grader is brilliant.
Yeah.
A grade 1 student is not going to learn from a PhD. That doesn't make sense. So in this circumstance, if you're absolutely a beginner in something, maybe there's somebody in your community or that you personally know that you can get a few starter tips from, instead of having to put the pressure on of, I'm going to be Jimi Hendrix the first day I pick up a guitar.
That's not, and I'm not saying you go listen to Jimi Hendrix and try to play Jimi Hendrix on day one. It's like just inspiration, and you can see where someone can actually take this. Like, if I put in the hard work and I practice every day and I get that advice from the 5th grader and I'm just meeting people along the way, I can maybe get to a point where I'm 1/10 as good as Jimi Hendrix, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's not, you got to listen to these masters and try to become them right away. It's just being inspired by what they've done and seeing what's possible. And for me, I think just being inspired is what's gotten me every project done that I've ever wanted to. Like, it's always just something in my mind, something sparked that inspiration, and I just went for it. And that's, I think, what a lot of people do. And of course, there's going to be hard days where you don't want to practice, or you don't want to do whatever it is you're trying to get better at. But on those days, like, just consuming, like listening to an album may bring that inspiration back.
Right. I think that's actually a good segue for my next tip.
Yeah.
Which is exposing yourself to a brand new art form that may have nothing to do with either your interests or what you're currently doing. And I have found, so a good example for me is I picked up a graphic novel at the library a couple of months ago. I had never read graphic novels. I told myself, nah, I'm not going to be into that. Not my thing. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I'm now on my 3rd graphic novel that I've signed out. And it's not necessarily that I want to start creating my own graphic novels. Excuse me. But I'm really drawn to that way of storytelling. And I might be able to draw upon an idea because I'm thinking about art differently and integrate that into something I'm already doing. Yeah. Or you might pursue something that was completely unknown to you.
Yeah.
Going to see live theater. We've talked about performance art often on this podcast, or podcasting itself. There's ways that you can pull upon other people's styles and, back to your point of inspiration, use that for your own self-expression.
Yeah, I agree completely. The next thing I was going to say was to consume as much art outside of the particular thing you're trying to work on as well. Reading, I think, is important for every art form, just to keep your brain active and to learn about history, to just have knowledge in your brain that can seep its way into your creations. And in an art form that you have no idea how to do or even want to do, like whenever I go out and see like an orchestra perform, like if we went and watched Symphony Nova Scotia, that's so different than what I do as a rock musician. So I don't, if I go out and see a band, I'm always analyzing things in a certain way. I'm critiquing them, not necessarily in a critical way, but I'm just looking at how they interact, all the things that they do, and that's just your natural state when someone's doing something that you do. You kind of look at that and compare to yourself, for better or for worse. But when I go see something like an orchestra or live theater that's different than what I do, I can just consume it just as it is and not have to critique it in any way. I can just enjoy it for exactly what it is. And that can be very inspiring, back to the inspiration side of things.
And sometimes there's parts of that inspiration that are less tangibly creative and more about emotional and mental stimulation. I watched my friend Stuart Legier do a one-man show as
Yeah.
live theater, and that act of courage, or how I would have witnessed that, was very inspiring for me just as an artist and as a human being.
Yeah.
I spoke last week about baking my first coconut cream pie that took me 6 hours. That practice, what I enjoyed about it was that it required patience and there was a formula to follow.
Yeah.
That might be different than the type of free-flowing art that I typically do. So it's actually training a new part of my brain and my outlook on just mindfulness in the world, just as much as it is that hands-on art as an outcome.
And I think as an artist, it's your responsibility in some capacity to make sense of what's happening around us, make sense of the world, of our emotions, of your own emotions. Then you create your piece of art and you can give that to the world. Maybe you just keep it yourself. Maybe you send it to your friends. However you deliver to other people, maybe it never is. But at the true essence of being an artist, I think there is some responsibility to understand what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to just be aware of what's going on around us. Not necessarily like the news, you have to be up to date with everything. But I think just being in touch with the world, with other forms of art, with reading books, just diving into literature, with just other people, like looking at, sometimes you have to step back and view what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all really important, because if you want to say, if you're trying to say something, I can just write a song that means nothing and it could be good, but I feel like 99.9% of the songs that a lot of people really relate to in the world, or pieces of art that people relate to, the creator was putting their being into that. And when you are more receptive to taking in just the energies of the world around you, like observing people, observing nature, just reading books, you're up to date with what's happening in the world, the political situations, and you can infuse your interpretation of what's going on at this point in history, or you're summing up this feeling you've had, this heartache or this joy, and you put that into a piece of art. That is something that people, I feel, often resonate more with.
Point of view can be seemingly simple as well. I listened to an interview with a Swiss sculptor
Yeah.
recently, and he was talking about maybe you're finding yourself thinking about this memory from childhood recently, and you don't know why that memory popped into your head. Or maybe you're really into Pop-Tarts and they taste delicious and you haven't had a Pop-Tart in a while. It's those observations that matter as well. Art doesn't always have to be this grand gesture or message or, political resonant with everyone. Like, it can be these kind of whispers. And I liked that it took a little bit of the pressure off to think about it in that way,
Yeah.
and gave meaning to these thoughts or observations that we might tend to overlook because we say they're just, oh, that's just a dream I had last night, or that doesn't make sense, or what a weird thought for me to have had. And then we sort of pass it by, when those might be the little nudges and signs that you are meant to kind of pursue that a little farther. And I think for a beginner, when you're just getting started, that advice really matters, because you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't have to have this huge exhibition planned. It can be like, I really liked the Smurfs when I was younger. So maybe that means you work with miniatures or blue or make-believe. There's lots of ways to kind of interpret that.
Yeah, you don't have to create every piece of art doesn't have to be powerful and meaningful and grand and world altering. It can be, I guess, but I think it's just being in touch with what is resonating with you at that moment.
Well, a banana taped to a wall with a piece of duct tape sure sold for a lot of money, didn't it?
Yeah.
So
someone
I'm gonna run with my Smurfs and Pop-Tart idea, I think, after all.
How much did that sell for in the end?
I don't know. I'd have to.
It's like millions, though.
Lots and lots.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can speak on how that works, but maybe someone maybe it took them years and years and years to come up with that concept, and they were capturing the essence of humanity summed up in a piece of fruit and piece of tape.
Well, your Town Heroes video that you referenced at the beginning of the episode, you might not have intended for that to be a work of art, but it has tens of thousands of people that are consuming it and discussing it. It doesn't have to be, not everybody has to like it. It doesn't have to inspire you or change you even in a positive way. But you absolutely have done your job because you have created conversation and reflection, and there you go.
We did it.
You did it.
Yeah, well, the funny videos always get way bigger viewership than something you pour your heart and soul into, it seems. But
I know it.
This is very timely. Like, I had the
it's
idea.
Relevant.
I knew it would do good just because sometimes an idea hits me like that. I'm like, oh, I have to capture this right now because this is the exact moment they announced the fire ban, the Woods ban yesterday at 4:00, and had that video out by 7:00 because it's on everyone's mind. Like, it's not like the funniest video of all time or anything, but it's just relevant.
Yeah,
and you're tapping into that.
Good. What's the next one on your list?
I have find like-minded people. So finding a community, and we did a whole episode off community, but having other people who are in the same boat as you, have the same general goals, like just music again, for an example. Like, you can create in your bedroom all you want, and that might be all you ever need to do, but going out and meeting new people who are also doing the same thing as you, and you can maybe collaborate with them. You're figuring out things together. People who are in the same skill set, same level as you. Maybe if you're just a beginner, meeting some other beginners and kind of growing with them and learning from them. What are they doing to get better on guitar, a better singer, to be a better artist? Like, having other people who are going through the same experience as you can lean on them in different ways, and you can talk to them, and maybe you feel like, oh, I'm no good, I can't get this part down, and maybe they are going through the same thing, and you realize, okay, this is what we all go through, and it's a learning experience. So just being around other people doing similar things as you in the same community can be so inspiring, so helpful. So much knowledge can be shared back and forth, and it's just a great way to be social, and you can discuss exactly this particular thing that you're trying to improve at.
Putting you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah.
If you are a beginner just trying to get started at maybe creativity or art for the very first time, or try a new skill, do you have any suggestions of where people might look for those opportunities? Where might you find that like-minded community, or others that are brand new at something?
Yeah, I think, well, music, again, as the example, I think like open mics, because a lot of beginners go to open mics. And you don't have to go to play. You can go just meet people and chat and see what other people are doing, what's inspiring them, what they're creating. For art, maybe art galleries, like check out events like Togetherland, like workshops or art openings. Go to an event where someone has a new show being displayed, and there'll be a ton of people there. Like maybe if you're in a place where there's schools for those art, check out the events that they have. And these are all in-person things. There's also online communities you can find. I'm not big in the online communities. I know Reddit is somewhere where people can find like-minded people over any topic. I've never been a Reddit user, but I know that is a common one. And I don't know if chat rooms still exist. I feel like they might somewhere.
They're probably a little bit different than our day or our introduction to them.
Not MSN Messenger. But yeah, I think in all these things you do have to put in effort. Like you can't just sit back and let it happen. And it's not hard, but you may have to go out, look up some information online and go out of your house to go meet people. It all comes back to having that little bit of courage. You need to, just summon that up and go out and do the thing. Go out and meet the people, say hi. Like, artists are all weird, kind of unique people. No one's going to care if you just walk up to someone and say hi, or someone plays a song in open mic and you go chat with them. People love that.
We want that to happen. Yeah.
And not everyone is trying to be a professional. Some people just want to create to just have something for themselves. Like they can play in their house by themselves, for themselves, and that's perfectly fine too. But a community is never a bad thing. Just we know how important the social side of things is in longevity and health. Like having a social network, not necessarily big, but having a social network and a social life is one of the key markers in longevity in how long you live. So I think it's never a bad thing if you can build up a small group of people who are like-minded into the same things as you, and you can just discuss, you can vent.
And it gives you
celebrate together.
Yeah, there's something that you're doing together, which is fun. It's one thing to get together with friends and kind of talk and catch up, and sometimes that's more important than the doing because you are pouring your heart out, or like you really just need someone to listen in those moments. But I'm thinking of how many times I've invited a friend group to the gallery and we've made something together. Yeah. So you're still getting that social visit in, but you get to leave with something you've made as a group too, which is always fun. They make good memories. Like the sign I even made for Togetherland was a group project. Yeah. And we ended up, having snacks and socializing, and it was a blast. And then we had this thing that we all can say that we participated in and made together. So that's fun too.
You make it.
I like what you did there. Okay, my last tip is using art prompts. I think when you're first getting started, you might not know, what's the first step? What's something, the whole world is out there, which is beautiful in a lot of ways, but it can be overwhelming to know what thing to pick up. And I have found sometimes using an art prompt helps me get out of my head. Gives me a little bit of that direction that I need. So you can find lots of books, podcasts, online things, same resources that you reference. Like they're certainly all out there. If you just even look up art prompts, you're going to find a million of them. But I did jot down a few of ones that I like. I've seen, this is a popular thing, maybe on TikTok, which we don't have, but it's painting your partner. So you and I would sit across from one another with a canvas that we can't see, and we would paint each other's portrait. So it's really funny usually, and like you reveal them at the end. But that's just kind of a cute prompt that you can do with a friend or a parent or a kid, like whoever. Somebody, you just need a partner to do that exercise with, and a few cheap paints from the dollar store. But it's interactive that way, and then you can hang them up. And so,
what are some ones just for individual people just to be inspired?
So I wrote down, write in detail what your perfect day would look like. And this is actually something that comes up often in like a life coaching or a therapy type of session to bring clarity. But there's a lot of creativity there. And it's purposeful. I mean, this is a useful art exercise to do on your own. And they encourage you, when I have done this exercise, the level of detail really matters. So you want to think about, I wake up and my sheets are made of this fabric and this is my view and this is the temperature of the room and this is who I'm with, and like very calculated how you want that day to look. So it then becomes sort of a more robust creative exercise. But I always like that one. So that's a writing one. We've done a painting one. And the last one I put was finding something in nature and using that to inspire you. So some exercises I've done have been to go out and collect leaves, and you can actually paint on the leaf and either press that on paper or make a scene on the leaf. That's fun. I've seen people paint branches and kind of slap it on paper or canvas. And it looks really beautiful. It looks like you've hand painted this branch. Like it translates really well to do that. And it's kind of physical and like something totally different. Or you can use things in nature. There's a woman I follow on Instagram that she'll collect little pine cones and blades of grass, even dirt, and she'll arrange them and photograph it. So she's creating a scene out of natural elements, but the end art form is the photograph. And the material she uses, she just throws back into the woods when she's done. And so there's lots of ways of using those elements. They're free. They're at your disposal all the time, and you can do it by yourself or with a partner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think I have one last thing.
Okay.
And that is listen to Make It with Mike and Kristen.
Well, that's always a good. I will say, as somebody who is already very deep into their creative career, so maybe not a beginner, I still very much learn new tips all the time through speaking with other artistic minds.
Oh, definitely.
Their methods, their process. It's given me a lot of permission to try things a different way. There is no right or wrong. There is no formula anymore to a whole lot. And so it's really encouraging and comforting to hear other points of view and how art is received and produced. So agree. This is a good one-stop shop for that.
Well, there you have it, folks. You listen to this episode and you can just take on the whole damn world.
You are an artist.
Yeah, you can go down any road, any path you want creatively and be the best version of you.
And of course, there's lots more tips, pieces of advice I'm sure that our listeners have either heard or followed. But these are some things that have worked for us, and we wanted to highlight them and would love to hear any more.
Yeah. Let us know, folks. Hope you're doing good out there. Hope you're making it. Hope you're finding every creative thing you ever wanted to. You're on the path you want to be.
And thanks for being here, listening with us. And we'll see you again next week.
For the makers, the dreamers, and the figuring it outers.
Is that the end of it?
Sure.
Yeah. Make It with Mike and Kristen is recorded and produced by Michael S. Ryan at Hot Jupiter Sounds.
Intro and outro music by me as well.
Cover art by Emily Rankin at Take Note Graphic Design, and photography by Candace Moore.
If you cool cats want to help us out, the best way to spread the word is by telling a friend about us. Tell your mom, tell all your buds. Word of mouth is still the best way to reach people. It's free for you and helps us immensely. And if you're into it, you can like and subscribe and all that stuff too.
Another way to support us is through our Patreon. We have a number of super fun tiers and perks like bonus content, handwritten postcards, creative coaching, and so much more. Find us at patreon.com/Mike and Kristen.
For the makers, the dreamers, and the figuring it outers, have fun trying to make it out there, friends.